Okay, let's get started talking about double bowing. And by that I mean using a bow in each hand. So, yeah, hey, Rick, are you crazy? I just now got used to using one bow. Now you're wanting me to add a second bow. Trust me, it is worth it to learn to double bow and to play using both or a bow in each hand. And there's a lot of different techniques that we'll be covering and styles of doing that. I have my favorites that I use, but the first thing you've got to have is some way to hold the Sultry while you're double bowing. Obviously you can't hold it in one hand and then play using two bows unless you juggle both in one hand, which is not very easy. I've seen that done before. I've got one of my tripod holders here. These are fairly simple to make for a single instrument. This one is adjustable for different sizes of psalteries, but you can make one that's a fixed model that would work for a single psaltery. We'll do a video of that in the future on just how to make a tripod holder for one of your psalteries and see how you do with that. I can show you exactly how to do that. But I'm using a camera tripod with my tripod holder. I've got it adjusted at the perfect angle for me. I'm standing while I'm playing now, so I have my tripod legs are spread out and I'm standing between two of the legs. If you'll remember back to the video where I was talking about mounting the Sultry to the tripod and using a tripod, I said that if you're sitting, have one leg of the tripod between your feet. If you're standing, swing it around so that you're standing between the two legs, and it kind of keeps the legs out of the way of your feet. I've got big old feet, so I'm liable to kick that at any time. But the way I've got it adjusted now, it's not going to happen. So yeah, you have to have a way to hold it. This is pretty much my playing angle, favorite angle for playing. I can reach everything very comfortably. When I'm reaching out to that lowest note, this arm is still pretty close to my side, so I can have it relaxed and be mostly by my side. Now, when you're using the left hand and left bow, when you're reaching across, that arm's going to come up. It doesn't have to come way up high, just enough to, you can do a lot with just the position of it in your hand to not have to raise that arm way up high. So when you're reaching across, so in the video screen there, you can still see this hand and arm. So I don't have it way up high. It's not by my side though. I can't do that. I can maybe on a few of the notes there, but when it comes time to reach out, it's just hard to keep it by your side the whole time. So a bow in each hand. So the right hand bow, the grip of the bow is the same for me as what I've always shown you. My thumb is behind my middle finger. Lightly lay my other fingers down for support, and that's my grip. If I do that with the left bow, when I reach across, I feel some strain here in my arm or my wrist. And if I'm going to stay over here and play melody, harmony, and stay mostly along the right hand side, this hand really starts to feel that strain. So I need to do something to get rid of that. And I do that with my grip. I lengthen that grip out. I tilt my fingers. That's more of a violinist grip, I guess. I'm not a violinist, but that's kind of what their hand looks like to me when they're playing. So by lengthening that out, when I reach across, I don't feel any strain here. That's much easier for me to hold that angle there and not feel a strain in that arm. Anytime you're doing anything at all and you start to hurt a little bit, you're not going to do that for very long. So it's time to find a solution, and that's my solution as far as playing and staying on that left hand side quite a bit. That same grip will, of course, work all the time on the left side as far as what you're doing if you're playing on the left side, but definitely helps when you reach across. So thinking through what goes through your brain when you're double bowing, you've got to kind of think for each hand. Your brain will try to overpower that a little bit, and it did for me. When I first started playing, I wanted something very simple. Started out simple with just playing a drone that was behind a melody with my right hand. Left hand was playing a drone. Now drone is something that you should practice, but it pretty much goes from, remember my rule that I don't go past my index finger, and I can go all the way to the tip there. The drone works the same way. I don't hardly go all the way to the tip, but I do stop around my index finger. I don't really stop, I reverse. So here's my drone. So I just reverse. I don't lift like this. I don't have that break. I just reverse. That's about as continuous as you can play. Now the whole time that I'm playing that drone, I'm rubbing the bow hair against this pin. I'm letting it ride that hitch pin. It makes everything nice and smooth and it stays put. When I first started trying to double bow, I started out simple. I just wanted a drone behind a melody. I didn't really know where I was going with all of it. I didn't know it would turn into harmony parts and little harmony runs with the left bow, but just for something simple to start, I wanted this. But what was happening was my left hand was mimicking or following the movement of my right hand. So I didn't have that smooth drone that I wanted. So I had to train my brain to think for this hand while this hand was going ahead and doing what it's supposed to do and playing the melody of the song. So a good practice would be to pick a note to drone. Let's try a G. And then go ahead and play a scale from C to C above that. It's a really good practice to get your brain programmed into breaking away from the movement of the other hand. When you think about it, folks that play a piano, they play with each hand independent of the other. So this hand's doing something, this one's doing something completely different. When you're playing a guitar or banjo or something, this hand's picking, plucking, this hand is noting the melody or chords or whatever, but you're doing things independent of each other. So that's kind of what you got to make your brain think about that. It took me roughly a week to 2 weeks to get it to where I was pretty smooth with my left hand while I was playing a melody, and that's what I wanted. And then I started moving on into playing harmonies along with my melodies. To where instead of just the drone, my left hand moves along behind the right hand bow and plays a harmony drone, a run. possibilities are endless. You can decide what to do, and you can change that up during every time you play the song. You can do something different, and that's where all the different techniques of double bowing will come in. And we'll be talking about all that later. But just as a good way to start would be to get used to handling a bow in each hand and making each one do what you want it to do. Once you get that drone down, now one thing about that reverse, when I reverse, there's definitely, you can hear it, but if you're playing a melody with the right hand bow, that's kind of can be hidden. As long as it's not on the same note, you may not even notice the difference in the sound. So that drone and that drone also will come in handy when playing backup behind other instruments, or to use at a jam, especially when you don't necessarily know the tune yet. It's a song that you want to learn, but you want to, instead of just sitting there with your arms folded, go ahead and bow some notes. If you're playing in a dulcimer jam, you can pretty much count on playing a D chord, find out the chords of the song and find those 3 notes on your Sultry, and kind of make those changes. Get used to making a change in the drones. So D, A, B, D, E, F, G, and A. So D, G, and A. So you know how to find the chords of a key. D is your chord of the key of the song, and then you skip these 2 if you're going up the alphabet. D, E, F, skip those. D, E, F, G, A. So D, G, A. Those are the 3 chords in the key of D. So you can use those drones when the group or the song takes or goes to one of those chords. That's the note you need to drone. After a while, you'll pretty much learn to maybe drone that note and maybe add a harmony note in there and make some really nice backup sounds. It doesn't have to be a drone. You can kind of chop some notes. Another good reason to learn to double bow. But that's pretty much your assignment for this video, is to work on bringing in or using that left hand bow and playing that nice smooth drone while the right hand bow does something else. So another good practice for the left bow is to play the chromatic scale. Starting at C, we're going to play every note in the chromatic scale, just like if you were to play every white key and black key, one after another. So you're going back and forth to each side. So you'll see that instead of doing this, we're going to be doing this. The left bow is going to play on the left side. So take that at whatever speed you need to learn how to do that. That's going to be something else that's going to be training your brain into using that left bow. It has a job. So make that bow do its job. You can play that chromatic scale at any speed. So just do whatever you want with it. Once you get comfortable playing at one speed, try it a little faster. You're working toward getting so that you don't think so much about what each bow does. Your music or the song is going to be going through your head, and what each bow does can start to become more automatic to you. And that's when you really have got it. When that starts happening and everything is automatic. You didn't see that mistake, did you? Good, I didn't think so. All right, that's enough for this time, and we'll continue on into the next video.